I'm switching to the iPhone SE in 2023, and by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly all the reasons why I'm doing this. So as you can see, I do use the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and if you've been following the channel, I've raved about how great this phone has been so far, with some people disagreeing and some people agreeing, but overall, it's just basically a polished, refined iPhone 13 Pro Max. But lately, I've just been feeling really overwhelmed with super large screens. I've been overusing my screen too much, actually, which is probably mostly my own doing, but we also have to take into the fact that these larger phones, including foldable phones and these larger phablet style phones and even tablets and all these things are designed to suck you in. And so I've decided I'm going to take it back to the iPhone SE, at least for the time being. Now, when I talk about going back to this phone, I'm talking about my iPhone SIM, which is one of my personal phones. I'm still going to be reviewing Android phones as well as larger iPhones in the future. I'm not going away from them 100%, but I'm going to be treating it differently in terms of my personal life. That's why it's the More Nick Ackerman channel. We talk about more things, that I do that I'm not going to always talk about on the main channel. And so first thing I want to talk about is why I'm using this phone is that this phone reduces distractions. And there's a lot of ways that this phone can reduce distractions. And while distraction is something that you are technically in control of, there are some hardware frictions on this phone that actually create a less of distraction. Number one, there's button friction. So with the iPhone 14 Pro Max or any of the newer iPhones, because they have this gesture-based OS, it's very easy for your brain and for your fingers to just kind of swipe in and pop in and between applications back and forth. But because there is a little bit of a slower button friction here, I think on the iPhone SE, there is just a slight second delay that really doesn't make you want to hop in between applications as fast. And that slows you down. I think it can actually create a little more focus because you don't want to keep hitting that button every time. And if you swipe up from the bottom, you're going to go to the control center. Haven't you noticed that before, when we used to have the smaller SEs and stuff, you probably were on your screen just a little bit less? Haven't you been noticing the news article screen time is way up? I think this might play into that factor. The next one is this phone actually has bad battery life by default. So meaning that the iPhone SE is not really that good at battery life. But in this case, I actually like that because I want it to have bad battery life. I don't want to be on my phone as much with this SE. That's the whole point. I'm switching. And having bad battery life means I have to pay attention to when this battery life is going to drain. And for that reason alone, I think it's a really good option to try this phone out if you're trying to reduce your distractions. And you'll have low power modes. I don't have it in the control center, but you can place it there as well if you want to turn on the low power mode. The next one is that one of the issues I've been dealing with my screen time usage is YouTube overconsumption. Binge watching YouTube videos. I'm a YouTuber creator. Well, I don't like to consider myself a YouTuber, but I'm a content creator on the YouTube platform. And I do watch a lot of YouTube videos myself, even though I create a lot of them. I'm kind of sucked into the platform myself. And I find with this phone, I'm not quite as likely to do that. So that's pretty good. The next reason I found out that this is a really great option to use, even though a lot of people look at this like that phone is weak, you're comparing it to the other competition. You're not looking at what it has as its strengths. All you're doing is thinking about what other phones have marketed to make you believe that they're so much better. And that is the light weight of this phone. The lightweight in your pocket, when you're exercising, when you're moving around the city, when you're moving around your town, throwing it in a car cubby hole. I bet you this phone fits in like 90% of cars, like those little cubby holes. Even if they're older cars, newer cars are starting to adapt to this and give you bigger sections to put your phones in. But I bet you this phone can fit in nearly every single car. Like there's going to be a slot for it. So that's pretty cool too. Even when you put it on a bike or something, if you're a cyclist or something like that, or if you ride a scooter, whatever, those little things that hold phones, this thing will be even easier. The next one is I'm less concerned about the value with the iPhone SE. Now the SE is not worth too much money, so I really don't care if it gets scratched up. It actually already has a scratch right there. You see it right there, bang, right there. I really don't care because I know I'm not getting no cash back. I mean, what am I going to get? Like 100, 200 bucks back on this thing? Like, it's not worth much money, but it serves a good purpose. It feels like a pretty good tool. And I'm just not really concerned with multitasking so much anymore. I've been really researching and thinking about monotasking or singular tasking lately. And I've been employing the Pomodoro technique, which basically means that you'll do a focused task for 20 minutes or so, and then you'll stop, and then you'll give yourself a break. And then you'll do another task, and you'll give yourself a break. And after like 4 times, and you take a long break. I think monotasking is much more efficient than multitasking. I've been finding, because I've been actually using my foldable phone a lot lately, the Galaxy Z Fold, along with the, more premium, flagship Samsung phones that can multitask, also splitting screen on my iPad and my Mac OS computer. And I find every time I do this, I just feel overwhelmed. It only takes me probably 20 minutes of multitasking, or even if you have multiple tabs open at once, it's just overwhelming. And I just think that the brain is really just designed to monotask, like we're doing right here. We're recording a video. This is a straight down shot right here. And we're having pretty good fun here. And this phone does a lot of things monotask. It has a single camera, one camera, point and shoot, one button, go home, single screen. There's no gestures. It's just everything about this, buttons, silent switch, like everything about this phone is just very simple. And that's something I think was underappreciated about the classic iPhone experience. And everything is getting a little more complex. And I'm not saying Apple should go back to this, but I think while this option is still available, I think this is a great option if you're looking for a distraction-free kind of experience. And I'm not trying to sell you anything in this video, and I am very well aware that I have the blessing to be able to, I'm fortunate enough to be able to switch and then go back if I want. Not everybody has that, but even if this was your only phone, I still think you can get a ton done with the iPhone SE. Remember, this still has the A15 Bionic, which is silly fast, and honestly, I wouldn't even care if it didn't have the A15 Bionic. This phone doesn't even need it. To be honest with you, you could get by with an A14 Bionic. But that is why, for the time being, I am switching to the iPhone SE in the summer of 2023. I just had this epiphany moment yesterday, and I wanted to share it with you. And now I'm going to be rocking this as my personal iPhone for a little while, at least until the iPhone 15s come along. I've just been overwhelmed with these larger screens. Let me know if you have any techniques to help, curb overconsumption of content or just like distractions on your smartphones. Do you have any great applications you recommend? I'm really interested in this topic, and if you are interested in this topic as well and you've discovered something, share it with the community. It can help people out. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing. My main channel is the Nick Ackerman channel. We cover all kinds of technology, speed test comparisons, Apple, Samsung, Google. Just go over there, subscribe if you're into all that. But over here, we'll talk about things that I don't always cover on that main channel. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here. I'll catch you on the next episode, and peace.